The top story this morning, the ceasefire deal for Gaza that Israel signed last night, of course, is inspiring hope that this conflict, this bloody conflict, can finally come to an end. And it comes 2 years and 3 days since the October 7th attacks. Our next guest has been with us every step of the way, reporting for us. CBS News contributor Robert Berger joins us once again from Jerusalem to talk more about this. So, Robert, you've been following the story for us from Jerusalem. I was saying earlier to Haley Ott that I have a close friend in Tel Aviv who I texted earlier this week to ask her about this moment. And she waited until just yesterday to text me back because she said she didn't want to get ahead of herself. She didn't want to feel the joy that she's feeling now to then have that come down and be deflated if it didn't go through. So what's your reaction, Robert, to this incredible, momentous occasion?
Well, we've certainly seen that before, all these disappointments, but it looks like this is actually going to happen this time. Monday, under this 72-hour period now that started with the ceasefire, we're supposed to see 20 living hostages come back. There's great anticipation here. And there's optimism, really, for the first time that this is actually going to happen. So it's a huge collective sigh of relief for the entire country. I mean, the hostage issue has just overshadowed life here since the war began 2 years ago.
Robert, there's also some reporting that one of the reasons that Hamas agreed to this deal is that President Trump himself personally guaranteed some of the stipulations that he had in his 20-point peace proposal, including that he would be very, very tough on Prime Minister Netanyahu if Israel was the one to break the ceasefire, as was reported that they did the last one. What are you hearing around that?
Yeah, I mean, there are guarantees from President Trump. He wants the war to end. And this is really one of the main reasons that the war is probably going to end. I mean, there are a lot of things that have to happen after the hostages get back. First, let's see if the hostages get back. But President Trump has given guarantees that Israel will not go back to war. And I don't think that Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu, are in a position to cross that. On the other hand, the deal does call for the disarmament of Hamas, which Hamas hasn't even agreed to. So there are obstacles ahead, but it looks like, with U.S. guarantees, that we're heading toward the end of the war.
And Robert, let me ask you about Prime Minister Netanyahu's political position. Once the hostages are returned home, once we see some level of a ceasefire, in other words, that there is no shelling, there is no shooting, there are no terrorist activities, what is his political future? Almost every man on the street, what we call in the news businesses, man on the street that I've seen our correspondents do from Israel, and even from folks here in the United States who have family in Israel, some who have families, members who were taken hostage, almost unanimously are saying that they are done with Bibi, that they want him to go. So what is his political future if this one thing that he was sort of using as to the reason why he should still remain in office is now no longer a part of his everyday? What does that mean?
It's true. I mean, you mostly hear that because, people are covering the demonstrations, and a lot of people felt that Netanyahu wasn't doing enough to get the hostages back. And he said all along, I'm going to get everyone back. If he gets them back, this is going to be a huge boost for Netanyahu. Now, we're expecting elections to happen in about a year. He could win. I mean, I know it's astonishing to say that, but there are quite a few achievements that Netanyahu has in all of this. He defeated Hezbollah in Lebanon. He took out Iran's nuclear program. He got rid of Bashar al-Assad, or at least he was part of that process in Syria. So, and polls show that when these elections take place, it'll be close. A lot of people would like to move on and see someone else come in, but Bibi's not finished.
Is there anybody, I know we got to go, Robert, but I have this interest, you just made me think of a question. Is there anybody, so we know that the left will perhaps obviously field a candidate, but is there anybody within Likud challenging Bibi?
No, Bibi's got the Likud, his own party. He's got that locked up. There's Naftali Bennett, a former prime minister, who would challenge him from another party who seems to be pretty popular. But Netanyahu's still there, and if he gets the hostages back, he's going to be in a better position. Not necessarily win the next election, but he's got a chance.
All right, well, we'll be watching. Robert Berger, thank you very much, my friend, for your perspective and your reporting. We always appreciate it. Thank you.